and welcome back to the NACFORADVENTURE YouTube channel. My name is AJ Cutler, and today's video is going to be a little different. Instead of like outdoor action sports, we're going to switch focus to the other side of NACFORADVENTURE, which is making little switches to make your life a little bit more sustainable. If you know me, you know that one of my favorite holidays is Halloween, just because I love dressing up and costumes, cosplay. I will use any excuse to get dressed up. One of the ways that I like to celebrate a little bit more sustainably is to make my own costumes, either from scratch or from repurposed fabric. This year, Nick and I chose to be Poison Ivy and the Riddler from the Batman comics. So I am super psyched. I kind of took inspiration from Uma Thurman's Poison Ivy, as well as any of the cartoon Poison Ivies. I am super excited to show you what it was made out of, as well as what it was made into. So sit back, enjoy a little dose of sustainability, and happy Halloween! For Ivy's outfit, I had three main things that I thrifted. First up was this long velvety skirt. It just had a lot of fabric, which was great, and it was a little stiffer, so I thought it would be great for the corset. Second was this green corset I purchased off of Poshmark. I figured it would be easier to sew the fabric onto an actual corset instead of starting from scratch. Lastly, I wanted a lighter green fabric that I could use for gloves, and in addition, this shirt also had elastic that I could repurpose as well. The first thing that I needed to do was to get this gorgeous dark green fabric onto the corset. Earlier on, I was trying to decide if I wanted to expose the boning or keep it covered up and have it one solid color. I was definitely going back and forth just because I liked the light green color with the dark green, but I ultimately decided to just keep the corset all one color. After I finally made that decision, it was now time to start tracing each panel of the corset onto the green fabric. It was a little difficult just because I didn't have a pattern, so I was kind of just flipping the corset on and off the fabric and tracing it from memory, which worked fairly well. Because I needed fabric for both sides of the corset, it was super easy to just put 2 layers of fabric while I was cutting. After looking at it, I was a little scared that everything wouldn't match up, but once I started pinning things and kind of putting it together, it looked actually very nice. As I was cutting, it was super great to figure out other little things on the skirt that I could reuse. For instance, the hem of the skirt was perfect for the top of the glove to kind of tie the corset and the bodice to the gloves. Once I cut out all the panels of the corset, I was able to pin everything together, and that's really when it started to come together and I could actually see that it's gonna look good. I really liked the ribbon from the original corset, so I wanted to keep that exposed. And then it was also a super easy way to hide the stitching as I sewed the darker green fabric onto the corset. Once the panels were all sewed together, we were able to start pinning and sewing to the actual corset. Even though it was a lot of hard work getting the panels cut and sewn onto the corset, I am seriously so glad that I made my own panels. I just think that it made it look so much more detailed and put together. After finishing the first side of the corset, I was able to try it on, and I realized that it was a little loose in the middle, so it bunched up a little bit. I don't think it was super noticeable, so I just decided to keep it, and then I used what I learned on the last panel and applied it to the second one to make it a little bit tighter. I think the second side was as perfect as it could have gotten because it was just bad enough where it matched the bad side and just good enough where it looked a little cleaner. Either way, I was super psyched on it. Next up were the gloves. I definitely made the same exact mistakes I made last time I was making these style of gloves for my glow costume when I was Ruth. The first pattern that I tried, which is what you're seeing here, had 2 seams, so it looked a little bulky I was trying to imitate the last pattern of a glove that I made, which used elastic at the top of the glove to hold it up. And the shirt that I ended up thrifting actually had some elastic in the collar, and I wanted to use as much as I could. I used a different style of fabric than I did last time making gloves, so this pattern with the elastic, it didn't look as good as I hoped it to. And this was when I realized that I made the same exact mistake as I did 2 years ago with my Ruth Glow costume. So I set out to make a pattern where it only had one seam on the bottom. I also went back and forth between using a lighter color thread on the darker fabric and using a lighter color thread on the lighter fabric, but I ended up liking the lighter thread on the lighter fabric to kind of hide the seam a little bit more. And here is the final glove. I was really excited about how they turned out. I didn't even need the elastic to have them hold up. Here is the final product. I am super excited about how it turned out. The corset is exactly what I wanted it to be. Gloves, not so much, but I am actually very happy with them. Then I went and got some green tights at Pibbs Exchange, and I'm just wearing some swimsuit bikini bottoms. The color matched super well to the corset, so stoked on that. I definitely know I will be wearing this corset again for like pirate renaissance-y costumes. Along with this full kit, I also have a red wig, some green eye makeup, some orangey red lip. By the time that this video comes out, I will definitely have taken some photos in the full outfit, so definitely go to my Instagram and check those out. Other than that, I just want to thank you for following along, and I wish you a very sustainable Halloween. Keep on crushing.